Since their last fight, Ngannou has only had 7 minutes and 2 seconds of cage time in 5 fights. Sorry, 5 minutes of that were obviously against Derek Lewis. So technically, 2 minutes, two
Yeah.
seconds in 4 fights.
Yes, people, you know there's something in the air when the heavyweight strap is on the belt. Two of the most dangerous men in this world go at it on Saturday, and I am very, 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 very excited. It's been a bit of a different road for the pair of them. They've fought before, as you all know. It will be an interesting one to see how it all plays out. So, Will, what are your thoughts? You got any stats for me?
So,
I
right,
know you have stats for me.
I'm gonna fire some. I'm gonna fire some your way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Naturally, I think it's going to be an exciting one for Ngannou, and it's going to be exciting to see what version of Ngannou we're going to see. But before we get into that, which I'm sure we will, I'll run through a couple of stats. So Ngannou is currently sitting at 15-3 on his record, and Stipe 20-3. So same amount of losses, but Stipe the GOAT with 5 more W's. We've got Ngannou, who obviously lost to Stipe and Lewis most recently, but since then he's beaten Blades, Velasquez, JDS and Rosenstruik. So that's a nice hit list in the heavyweight division and some absolute monsters in there as well. Since their last fight, so this is the interesting point, and this is what we're going to open up our conversation with. Since their last fight, Ngannou has only had 7 minutes and 2 seconds of cage time in 5 fights. Sorry,
That's crazy. That's why, I'm a bit shocked when it comes to the betting lines.
I'm going
Ngannou's the
to
favourite at the
interrupt you
moment.
quickly. 5 minutes of that were obviously against Derek Lewis. So technically, 2 minutes, two
Yeah,
seconds in 4 fights.
yeah. I don't count that fight when it comes to Ngannou's cage time. Like, you learn nothing from that fight. It's the same as me staring at you over Zoom now. You're just looking at another man not doing anything. So I scrapped that one. Yeah, that's literally one of them. We just did it. We recreated it. But yeah, I think the Stipe's championship experience is just invaluable. Spending, I don't know how long he spent with DC in there. They had 3 fights. One of them went the distance. One was in the first round. One was in the fourth. For let's say half hour. And in there with another absolute champion. That experience is invaluable. Granted, Ngannou possesses different threats than DC does, but everyone hits hard. I just think people are sleeping on the GOAT. What do you think?
I don't particularly think Ngannou sticks out as a glaring favourite for me. Again, it's the classic. Anyone can take this because obviously we have Stipe, which is absolute gold and can't be slept on. Defended the title more times than anyone in that division. So by the letter of the law, the best one to ever do it at that weight class. So we can't sleep on him, of course. But Ngannou's Ngannou, and it brings me to what you were saying the other day about how much did he really gain in that amount of time. And it's like what I was sort of saying, you can only do as much as you can do, and he's got 4.
Facts.
Well, we're going to strike Lewis away from this conversation, but you take 4 people in, you look at the quality. So obviously we've got Miocic, who has that championship experience, he's got that title defense experience, which is, and you're right, completely invaluable. But we're not talking about someone in Ngannou who's just fought a few people coming up. He's fought the best in the division. So it's not as if he hasn't had that experience with the top of the division, which is sometimes the argument that we make in title conversations. But you've got Blades, Cain Velasquez, JDS and Rosenstruik. There's a lot of quality in there for Ngannou, and
His hit list is mad.
It's crazy. And you have to think, he's the longest fight out of that was 1 minute and 11 seconds. So I know that he wouldn't have got as much cage time as he would have liked, but what can you do, right? What can you do?
Yeah.
If you knock someone out in 26 seconds, you're not going to wake them back up and say, can we run it back just because I need a little bit more cage time? So it's an interesting one, but it is a good point. But
it's a weird argument, right? It's a weird argument. You're like, yeah, he's not good enough because he's knocked everyone out so fast. It is a strange.
So good.
Yeah, it is a strange argument when you put it like that, but there is something to be said for experience, but maybe sometimes we're just kind of pulling at strings because he couldn't have done any better in those fights, you know? So, like, it really could go either way. It really could go either way. I feel like we should give predictions later on in the week, but it's a fantastic fight. It's the right fight to be made. I don't think you can put Ngannou in there with anyone else because he'll just do the same thing to them unless their name is Stipe Miocic.
I think the interesting thing with this fight is what I was saying to you the other day as well, is it's going to be interesting to see what we see in Francis Ngannou. Obviously, we haven't seen him for a while in the cage, not ages, but a little while. And he's so new to the sport. He's 15-3, which is a very impressive record.
It's crazy.
But he's so new to the sport that it's what I was saying to you. He has so much to learn. If you compare his amount of hours put into mixed martial arts and Stipe's, they are going to be completely incomparable. So Francis Ngannou is getting all these newbie gains. Obviously, Stipe Miocic is at the upper echelon of heavyweight division.
Yeah.
There's not a lot he can probably develop on within his skill sets. It's going to be more refining things and understanding sort of game plans. But Francis Ngannou's got so much to learn still. He's so new to the sport. So
yeah,
he's a scary prospect still. He is a very, very scary prospect. So even though he can't necessarily get the cage time, he's been, I imagine, refining and learning a lot of new skills.
Yeah. I feel like they're both tremendous athletes, right? For heavyweights especially, but there are sort of levels to being an athlete. Like Stipe for heavyweight has phenomenal hand speed, very sharp boxing, but then Ngannou probably doesn't have as technical boxing, but what he lacks in somewhat technique, he more than makes up for in just brute power and athleticism. They're both, like, typically you see heavyweights, right? They've got quite a lot of body fat. They're not in the best shape, but these guys are just huge men that are just fucking athletes, and it's a fantastic fight. I don't know how it's going to play out. Do know one thing.
We're going to find out.
I'm fucking buzzing for this one. Let's go. So yeah, let us know your thoughts on this heavyweight matchup below. As always, we appreciate all your support, your comments, your likes, your follows, all that good stuff. Make sure you're staying engaged on all of our social medias. Drop us a follow, and look forward to more content around this amazing fight week. As always, peace and love from Casuals Corner.